welcome back to our next company spotlight video on the Coinversation. Right now we're going to be talking about a new Bitcoin company called Bankymoon. Yes, it is named after Bankymoon. We'll get to that in a second. But once again, it's a company that Mark met at the Bitcoin conference in Prague. Kind of different, kind of exciting for a lot of different reasons. So let's get to it. Why Bankymoon?
So I asked him, and I'm not the first or last person.
Right.
And we're going to be interviewing Lauren. Lauren Gamaroff is the founder and CEO, and we're going to be interviewing him next week, I think, as well. So we'll let him give the story. But basically, he heard the name, thought it sounded really cool,
Yeah.
and then afterwards realized like how you spell Bankymoon,
Yeah.
which, if anyone doesn't know, is like a B-A-N-K-I moon, right? Three words. And just figured like, screw it, like Bankymoon is a cool word, I'll like spell it phonetically, and that's the name of his company. Which is a good thing because he deals with payments.
Right.
And you know, if you didn't deal with payments, it would be a bit of a weird name,
Right,
even
that's
more.
true.
But it is a super cool sounding name, that's B-A-N-K-Y, Moon.
Mm-hmm.
And basically they're a payments integrator. And we've seen a lot of them in the space, you know, obviously big guys like BitPay and, you know, Bitstamp and whatever else. But Bankymoon is doing something a little bit different. They've really taken the approach of how can Bitcoin be used to help the world,
right,
rather than just integrating large-scale merchants like Amazon or Newegg. So they've gone after third world problems using Bitcoin. And the idea that actually started the company was electrical smart grids. And they did that in Africa. And what's the basic idea is that electricity is something that a lot of people in Africa and other third world countries don't have. And one of the reasons they don't have is because they're unbanked. These guys don't have bank accounts. They don't have a way to pay on a regular basis an electrical bill. So what Lauren did is basically set up with an electrical company to use bitcoins instead of, you know, dollars or whatever other currency they're using in the country. And instead of having a prepaid solution, for example, where, you know, each house has its own unit, and from South Africa I've seen these things, and it's a huge barrier. The electricity company has to come and install a prepaid unit in your house. You have to go buy electricity vouchers and put them in, and you know, it's not an elegant solution by any stretch. So the idea is that you don't install anything. You link your account to your Bitcoin wallet instead of, you know, a physical bank account, and it just deducts the bitcoins as it's used. And I think it's amazing. I mean, it sounds very elementary, but once you dig in, you know, we were talking beforehand about just how amazing the solution is, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in a recent episode of Silicon Valley, right, that every startup that comes out of the Silicon Valley or the world, they want to change the world, but really they're in it for the big money and to be bought by
not
Google.
Gavin Belson, right?
No, of course not.
He's just in there to change the world and
right,
teach the Jews a lesson, right?
Yeah. But it really seems like Bankymoon wants to do something that's going to help the world. And a lot about Bitcoin, that people who are really into it for helping third world countries and a lot of different places around the world are trying to use cryptocurrency for people, because there are people who have access to internet but don't have banks. Exactly. So the amount of people that have access to Bitcoin that can actually use this service is huge numbers, but they don't really know how to use Bitcoin, right? So we were saying before about Bitcoin ambassadors, right? So the barrier here is really getting education about what to do, how to use Bitcoin, how to use the Bitcoin once you know how to use it for electricity and things like that.
Exactly. You really got the challenge of, you know, educating the suppliers, which is really what Bankymoon is trying to do as well.
Right.
But also educating users. You know, we work with Bitcoins every day. We also have bank accounts, and we live in a first world country. So we understand how safe Bitcoin is. But you can imagine, you know, someone who is living in like a rural place in the middle of like, you know, I don't want to say a country name and like get shouted at in the comments afterwards, but let's say some third world place, right? They don't have any reason to trust Bitcoin, or some guy coming along telling them, no, don't worry, just put your money here and it won't exist anywhere, but it's completely safe. So there's definitely a huge role for like ambassadors. And you know, we were saying that this could actually be a critical part of the Bitcoin economy, like especially trying to cross that barrier in third world countries, like having people who go around, you know, maybe they wear like superhero suits, like big Bitcoin flash and a bee or something, but you know, really being like a place you could go to, kind of like, you know, Apple stores or something, where they could help you set up wallets or explain things if you needed, link to new services, you know, but just make people feel generally safe about it, because once you understand how it works, it actually solves almost every problem that these guys are having, other than like, you know, living in a third world country, right?
Right. And there are probably billions of people that are living definitely close to those numbers of people who are living, you know, without banks and without access to a lot of things like electricity firsthand, like we have in first world countries or whatever. But if a billion people have Facebook, then you can definitely get a billion people on Bitcoin.
It's true. I mean, in fairness, I have been watching Catfish recently, so like those billion people may be like 500 million with fake profiles, but it really deals with like the fundamental issues. If you don't have a bank account and you know you're in a place where the economy is not so stable, and every service you want to use means you either have to go to some sort of government building, or you have to pay up front for the service, or you have to go to some kind of point of sale network so that you can buy vouchers. And obviously an electricity voucher can't be used with water, it can't be used with food, it can't be used anywhere. So it means that, you know, logistics, these guys have a huge barrier to overcome, because they have to go to a million places just to get basic services, which we do with a phone call. But also your money's tied up in services.
Right.
And most of these people in third world countries who are unbanked and who are coming from rural areas, they don't have the disposable income that they can afford to tie up in multiple services. It's kind of a catch-22, because if they had the money, then they could get bills at the end of the month, they wouldn't need them. But Bitcoin really deals with that.
Yeah.
Because Bitcoin can pay for all of your services. You don't have to convert your coins into a voucher for a service. So at any point you don't need to pay anymore, any point you want to cash out, you have your coin still, you have real money behind it. So there's a huge incentive here to actually put any disposable income you have into the Bitcoin wallet. Whereas now people are really careful about putting $1 too much or $2 too much, because it may not be recoverable. So, you know, one of the biggest ironies about the whole Bitcoin adoption thing is that the people who stand to benefit the most are really the third world and the unbanked. And these are the people who have the biggest barrier to entry right now. And that's why I really take my hat off to Lorian. Lorian's from Africa. And the guy believes. I mean, he really, really believes. And I think, you know, hopefully they'll do well and the company will make a lot of money, because I think he deserves it. But they really are trying to do something good here. And it's going to take people who are early adopters and who understand what's going on, you know, to go out there and educate people that aren't familiar with computers to do it. And I know that, you know, he'll tell us his story and whatever when we meet with him, but, you know, the guy's invested a serious chunk of his life in trying to make this happen. And, I think we need more Bankymoons, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. Bankymoon could be a company that's trying to exploit third world countries, saying, let's teach them about Bitcoin and get them to shop on Amazon with it. But that's not what's happening. He wants to bring them electricity, and from there, applications are endless. You know, you can use it for water and food and medicine and a lot of things like that. And as long as they have access to the same kind of money that we use on a daily basis, Bitcoin, then they're good to go. So, yeah, like you said, more Bankymoons out there, hopefully with also funny names like Bankymoon, and, changing the world, right?
No, that's it. One Satoshi at a time.
Yeah.
Like, really, we're in Bitcoin not because we're a completely libertarian or crypto anarchist or anything like that. We just think that it will change a lot of things, and we think it's super cool, and we do own Bitcoins, you know. But really, hats off to these guys, you know, simultaneously driving forward, you know, public initiatives at the same time as building companies that hopefully make a lot of money. really, shout out to Bankymoon and to Lorian, and other than anything, he's a really nice guy as well.
Right, which helps.
Yeah, it does help. And we look forward to seeing him on the Coinversation next week. So if you aren't already a subscriber, now is your time to subscribe. You do not want to miss the Bankymoon interview. I also have it on good authority that we may be unveiling another application that Bankymoon's been working on. So definitely watch. You want to see this guy. Ladies, he's a good-looking guy. Like, follow the Conversation.
Yeah.
You know we need subscribers when I'm like resorting to that.
Desperate, right?
Yeah. But no, really, follow us, and otherwise on Twitter at
at Coinversations, and we are not interviewing the head of the UN, just as a disclaimer. But Bankymoon on the Bitcoin side is going to be a fun interview, so check out for that soon.
Otherwise, this has been another conversation, if not a slightly strange one.
Yeah.
See you soon.